Are you looking at building a pool or adding an extension onto your house? Well, hold on a second, you may have to consider setbacks. What are they? Well, I'll be going over them in this video. Hi, I'm Emmanuel, and welcome to If I Can, You Can, the channel where if I can do it, you can do it too. We go over real estate investing and home renovations. As always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe below, and please leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Today I'll be going over setbacks, how they affect your property, and what you need to consider. What are setbacks? Setbacks are a minimum distance that a structure can be built from a property line, another building, or some other form of location. These are generally covered by the zoning regulations or an HOA. You have to look into local municipality to see what they have to say. They'll give you much more explanation on your local guidelines. Now there's 4 types of setbacks. That's going to be front yard, side yard, rear yard, and special setbacks. Front yard, just like it says, is how far from the front of your property. The side yard is going to be from each side of the property, and the rear yard is from the back of your property line. You have to check because these may be different. You may be having a different size from the front from the back and from the sides. Also, you may have the special setback, which may be from waterfront, a certain road, electrical line. You'd have to check and see what that special guideline is and if you're in an area that requires that. Now, why do we have setbacks? You bought this property, you want to use it to the maximum that you have, and I get it. I bought, a full half an acre. I want to use every last inch of it because I paid for it. That makes perfect sense. However, these are established with some rules in mind, so everyone gets the fair benefit, and one property doesn't stick out from the others, which may be aesthetics, or it can be a safety cause. You have to have a sidewalk there, maybe in a floodplain, and keep you offset from a certain area, or it may be from your next door neighbors. Nobody wants to be right next to their neighbors. They do have certain areas, I think it's San Francisco, that has a 0 setback, which is ridiculous. If you ever seen those, I don't know how they repair the exteriors between one to the other, because you can have them literally within an inch of each other. Also, for privacy, it's not really fun to go and open up your window and you're half an inch away from your next door neighbor and just looking into somebody else's living room. As well as environmental protections. They don't want your house right on a lake or river and the potential of something dripping in there and polluting the rivers and lakes. And finally, access. If they have to get emergency service in there or utilities, they want to be able that they have enough room to get in there and do whatever they need to do. How will they affect you? Well, if you're building a house, it's going to affect where you can position the house on the property. Or if you already have a house and you want to put an extension or a pool out there, it's going to affect where you can put your pool too. And finally, landscaping. If you want to have an addition or extension of a driveway, you may have to move this driveway depending on where it is. And I've known people getting hot water of they just go out there, hire someone to put in a driveway. The next door neighbor does a survey, and sure enough, it goes halfway through their property. Now they have to tear it up. It can cause a lot of problems, but these are how they can affect you. Now, how do you find out what the setbacks are? Well, you can check your local zoning codes and see what they have to say. You can talk to your HOA, you can check the plat, or you can hire a surveyor and they'll tell you what's going on and they'll show you where the property line's in. You may not always need to comply with the setbacks. There's a couple exceptions to this rule. One is if you're grandfathered in. As always, the United States is huge. Check your local municipality, see what the regulations are for grandfathering in. If there's a structure that already exists there, they may say, hey, it's been there for the last 40 years. It's fine. Just leave it there. No harm, no foul. The other thing you can do is you can request a variance to it. Now, let's say that you want to install a pool, and when you draw out the plan, it's going to be 5 feet away from your side yard setback. And the side yard setback regulation is going to be 10 feet. If you put in for a variance and it gets approved, you'll be allowed to install that, but you need to go through that process to make sure it gets approved. What happens if you don't comply with the setbacks? A whole bunch of not very fun stuff. They can come in there and they can stop the construction completely, they can put fines against you, or they can make you remove whatever you had built, which can be tremendously bad. You don't want to go in there, build an ADU in your back house. Turns out that it's halfway through a setback limitation boundary, and now you just spent $200,000 to build it and you have to tear it all back down. That is going to be a terrible day for you. Recently, I had a friend that just went through a little bit of a setback fight with their next door neighbors. I'd like to bring her on later on and maybe she can talk you through it, but for right now, that's all I have. If you have any stories of how you got in trouble with setbacks or how to get in a dispute with your neighbor, I'd love to hear it. Please leave it in the comments below. As always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe below. For right now, that's all I have. I'll see you in the next one.